Once upon a time, at a large factory, there was a young man just starting his job. He was assigned to apprentice under an experienced and seasoned technician. This mentor didn't talk much, but when he did, his words were filled with depth and life wisdom. He often reminded the young man, "Speak less, let your actions do the talking. Always work hard and never stop learning. Even the smallest task in this factory is worth mastering." The young man was quick to learn. Not only did he follow his mentor's teachings, but he also observed and studied every process and skill throughout the factory. Day by day, he became one of the most diligent and reliable workers. 10 years passed. The old technician retired, leaving the position to his former apprentice. Now a full-fledged technician, the young man continued his work with the same dedication and eagerness to improve. However, despite working hard for many years, he was never promoted or properly recognized. Every day, he carried out his responsibilities quietly. No complaints, no showing off. But deep down, he started to feel disheartened. He couldn't understand why those with less experience were being praised and promoted over him. One day, burdened by these thoughts, he decided to visit his old mentor, the man who had once taught him his very first lessons. The elderly mentor welcomed him into his home and patiently listened to the young man's frustrations. After hearing everything, he didn't respond right away. Instead, he asked, "Are you sure that you're truly indispensable at the factory?" The young man confidently nodded. "Yes, I'm certain. Almost every issue that comes up, I'm the one who handles it. I honestly believe the place would fall apart without me." The old man paced a few steps, then turned and said calmly, "Then I suggest you take a day off. For any reason. Give yourself a pause." The young man was a bit surprised by this advice, but eventually agreed. The next day, he submitted a request for a day off. When he returned to work, his manager called him into the office. In a serious tone, the manager explained that during his absence, the entire department had fallen into disarray. Technical issues piled up, and no one knew how to solve them. People were confused and stressed. His sudden absence had made the management realize how crucial he truly was. Quiet but consistent, invisible but vital. Without hesitation, the manager promoted him to senior technician as a gesture of appreciation and encouragement. In that moment, the young man was struck by a revelation. Sometimes constant presence can make someone invisible. It is only in their absence that true value becomes visible. He smiled, silently grateful for the unexpected but profound lesson his old mentor had just taught him. From that first leave of absence, the young man felt like he had discovered the secret to success. Every time he felt unappreciated or overlooked, he would come up with a reason to take a day off. Strangely enough, every time he returned, people seemed to treat him with more respect and recognition. Some even thanked him. And so, taking time off to be appreciated became a habit. In his eyes, it was a smart strategy, a well-earned reward for all his silent dedication. He believed that as long as he worked hard, occasional absences to remind others of his worth were perfectly reasonable. However, after one such usual leave, when he returned to the factory, he was suddenly stopped at the gate. The security guard informed him that his employment had been terminated. He was stunned. Why? He had always been diligent, professional, and capable. Why would the company make such a decision? Shocked and without answers, he went to his old mentor, hoping for guidance and an explanation. The old man, with a calm and kind expression, gently shook his head. "You followed my lesson, but you only understood half of it." At that moment, the young man's heart sank. Could it be that he had misunderstood the entire message? The mentor looked at him quietly, then softly spoke. "You only grasped half of the lesson. You understood that people only notice the value of a light bulb when it goes out, but you forgot the more important part." The young man, confused, asked, "Then, what's the other half?" The old man replied, "If a light bulb keeps going out too often, people will eventually replace it with one that's more reliable. No one wants to depend on something unstable, even if it used to be useful." The young man fell silent. The mentor continued, "In life, there are people who are always there for us, helping, supporting, showing up every single day. We get so used to their presence that we forget to say thank you. Only when they're gone do we realize how much they meant to us. And you too. Don't let yourself be taken for granted, but also don't make others feel they can't count on you. He placed a hand on the young man's shoulder and said, "Find balance. When you learn to balance your presence with your value, life will respond with fairness." The young man lowered his head, realizing that the most important lesson had only just begun. The mentor looked at him again and slowly asked, "Have you ever noticed how in life there are people who stay by your side? Friends, family, co-workers, and you rarely thank them?" The young man remained silent. The old man continued, "We usually only realize someone's value when they're no longer there. Don't wait for that day. Learn to appreciate them now." He looked straight into the young man's eyes. "And you too. Don't allow yourself to be seen as something ordinary. But also, don't stop putting in effort or walking away from responsibility just because things don't go your way. Life isn't always fair right away, but if you stay steady and wise, life will repay you in time." The young man quietly nodded. For the first time, he truly understood the full meaning behind his mentor's teachings. The final lesson was this: live with responsibility, appreciate others, and keep your balance. That is the foundation of lasting success. The old man gently concluded his teaching. Life is a journey that requires balance. You must know when to give your all and when to take a step back. But most importantly, never let yourself be disrespected, nor become someone others can't rely on. He looked at his student with warm eyes. Constant presence often goes unnoticed, but disappearing too often will make people replace you. Understand your position and protect your value through consistency and trust. After a long silence, he added, "Have you been neglecting the ones who are always there for you? Think of your family, your friends, the quiet supporters in your life. Don't wait until they're gone to realize how important they are." The young man said nothing, just nodded slowly. He finally understood. Success isn't just built on talent. It also comes from gratitude, responsibility, and knowing when to step forward or step back at the right time.